What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Talkin Sports with Jake. Hope we're all doing well. Let's jump right into some World Baseball Classic action. So Japan knocks off Mexico 6-5. Japan with the walk-off last night. So they advance to play the United States of America in the final, which is tonight. You had I might mispronounce his name, Mukarami of a walk-off two-run double in the bottom of the ninth against Mexico. So tonight at 7 o'clock, it'll be the United States of America versus Japan in the World Baseball Classic Championship. You never know. Imagine if Shohei Ohtani pitches and you have Trout versus Ohtani, that would be something else. That would be something else. But yeah, he had an injury. Jose Altuve broke his thumb. He's gonna have surgery. He has no timetable for his return. This is why I said you shouldn't put the World Baseball Classic before the season, because you should do it right after you do it in November when guys yesterday played a full season. They give them a little bit of time to rest. Have enough rest where they can get healthy enough where they can play in a 2, 3, 4 week tournament. We're having a long-term injury that could affect them for the next upcoming season, but not enough time off to where they'll be rusty and run a tournament. Yeah, Edwin Diaz, the league special reliever from my Mets, he's probably out for the season. That was just celebrating, but still, I mean, at the end of the day, he can't be in full game shape yet. And now Altuve breaks his thumb. And this has happened before. The last time they had, Seth Lugo for the Mets was a young up-and-coming starter, ruined his arm. He ended up becoming a very good reliever for the Mets, but he could have been a really good starter. It happens every year. And that should not be happening. So yeah, it can happen in spring training. Well, in spring training, no one cares what happens in the games. The starters barely play, and when they do, they play. They get maybe, they'll only play a full game maybe once or twice. Most of the time, they get 1 or 2 at bats, and by the 5th inning, they have all the minor league players and the starters. First couple times they'll go an inning or two, then maybe they'll go 4 or 5 innings, and right before the season they'll have like 1 6 or 7 inning outing, and then that's it. Most of the time, those starting pitchers only go a couple innings. They bring in the closer in the 5th inning in a 5-0 game. Like, games don't matter. So World Baseball Classic is basically like playing. It's the Olympics for MLB. On to hockey scores from last night. You had the Panthers over the Red Wings 5-2. By off 2 teams that are trying to sneak into the postseason. Senators over the Penguins 2-1. Dylan Ferguson in his second career game, 46 saves in that one. Penguins are not playing well. They're on the fence right now when it comes to making the postseason. Avalanche showed the Blackhawks 5-0. Chicago is eliminated from playoff contention. A once proud organization that won 3 cups in 6 years is now a complete dumpster fire. Oilers over the Sharks 5-4 in overtime. Sharks are falling apart. I think they're the worst team in the Western Conference now. And the Kings demolished the Flames 8-2. Kings are looking really good. On to the standings. East, Boston Bruins are already clinched the playoffs. They got 111 points, by far the most in the league. Carolina is in second with 98 points. You got New Jersey Devils in third with 97. They're neck and neck of Carolina. Toronto's in fourth with 93. New York Rangers in fifth with 92. That Metro is very tight. Carolina at 98. Then New Jersey Devils at 97. And the New York Rangers at 92. Tampa's in sixth with 90. New York Islanders in seventh with 80. Got Florida is now, they've passed Pittsburgh. Florida is now the 8th seed. For most of the year, they've been on the outside looking in. They've got to a tough start. They've been playing very well, though. They're now the last spot in the Eastern Conference. They got 79 points. Pittsburgh is a point out. Yeah, Ottawa is 5 points out. Washington is 5 points out, and they've really fallen off. And Buffalo is 6 points out. Detroit, who was starting to get back in, they've been struggling. They've fallen 9 points out. And you have the Flyers are falling off the face of the earth for them. Of course, the Montreal and the Canadiens and the Columbus Blue Jackets are buried in last place in the East with 49 points. In the West, Vegas Golden Knights lead the West. They got 92 points. The LA Kings also have 92 points. Kings have a 10-game point streak going. Have won 8 of 10 points in each of the last 10 games. And they are actually tied for first, but Vegas has got a game in hand. I think the Kings are flying under the radar as a team that could compete for a Stanley Cup. That West is wide open. First of all, The Vegas Golden Knights are in first place in the West. If they were in the East, they would be in. They would be tied for fifth with the Rangers. They would be tied for fifth with the Rangers. They would be in fifth place in the East Conference, and they're in first. That's crazy. That I find that insane. It's extremely tight. It's anyone's game. Similar to what's the conference in the NBA. It's anyone's best guess. The King, you got the Kings. They're a veteran team. They got a nice mix of veteran players and young guys. They got an upgraded goaltending. You traded your longtime goalie, Jonathan Quick. I know it did ruffle some feathers, him being there for 15 years. He had an incredible career, a couple of Stanley Cups, but Quick is washed. He's not the goalie he once was, or even close to it. They bring in Ewan Scorpusalo, who I don't think is an elite goalie. Like we thought a couple of years ago, he might become an elite goalie. But with if he has a good unit in front of him, he's a solid starter. And the Kings have that. He's an upgrade over Quick. Plus, you have Cal Peterson in the minor leagues. They got a nice scoring attack. They got some nice young guys. They still have a couple of guys who were on those cup teams, which happened in the last decade. They won a couple of cups. You still have Anze Kopitar there, still an incredible player. You still have Drew Doughty there, not quite the player he once was, but he's still a very good defenseman. They got a real good squad, and they're right now. They have a game in. They just got a game in hand on them. Otherwise, they would be first in the West. You got Dallas and third with 89 points. Colorado, it's got 88. As does Minnesota and Edmonton, but Colorado's played 69 games. Minnesota has played 70, and Edmonton has played 71. That's why it goes Colorado in fourth, Minnesota in fifth, and Edmonton in sixth. Seventh is the Seattle Kraken with 83, and the eighth is the Winnipeg Jets with 81. Calgary is 4 points out. Nashville is 5 points out. They got the St. Louis Blues, and everyone else is out. Blues are pretty much out of it, as is Vancouver, and then Arizona, and Chicago is out. The Sharks, who have fallen off the face of the earth, they're out. I think Anaheim might be out too. So that's what we got on the hockey landscape. Let's talk some NBA. Their scores from last night. Hornets over the Pacers, 115-109. Nick Richards, 14 points, 17 rebounds. Bulls over the Sixers, 109-105 in double overtime. Vooch, 21 points, 12 rebounds in the win. MBJ, 37 points, 16 rebounds. Derrick Jones Jr. with the block at the end of that game. Great game. Bulls pull that one out. Timberwolves beat the Knicks 140-134. As you can see, not a lot of defense now. And Julius Randle had 57 points. The Knicks lost. That's tough. Taurean Prince, big game. 35 points, 8 of 8 from 3. Monster game for Taurean Prince. Knicks they gotta be better defensively. Their perimeter defense has been horrible all year. It's actually why they made the trade for Josh Hart, because they wanted their perimeter defender. That's gotta be better. This team is good enough to win a playoff series, but they gotta fix their perimeter defense, especially if they're gonna play the Cleveland Cavaliers in the first round, which is very likely. Which is very, very possible. Warriors over the Rockets, 121-108. Warriors finally win a road game. They had lost 11 straight road games. Hadn't won a road game since January 30th. Stephen Curry, 30 points and 7 rebounds in that one. Grizzlies over the Mavericks, 112-108. Obviously still no job. Dylan Brooks continuing ran his mouth again. He got another technical, and he was going on social media again. That guy just never shuts up, I guess. Dallas still without Luka. Last 5 games have been without Luka. Hopefully they get him back soon. And the Jazz beat the Kings 128-120. Ochai Agbaji, first round pick last year by Cleveland. He was in the Donovan trade. Had 27 points in the win. De'Aaron Fox scores 37 in the loss. So that's NBA action from last night. Standings, yeah, in the East. Milwaukee is sitting first in the East. They have already clinched the playoff spot. Boston has fallen 2.5 games out of the first spot. They're in second. They've also clinched the playoff spot. Philly's in third. Philly's only 3 games behind Milwaukee. They're only a half game out of second. They're playing very well. You got fourth is Cleveland at 45-28. At 42-31 is the Knicks. At fifth and sixth is the Brooklyn Nets. They're at 39-32, still hanging in there. Obviously, the very different team after the trade deadline. Obviously, Miami Heat, the first playing team at 39-34. They're a game behind Brooklyn. At a game under 500 is the Atlanta Hawks. The Atlanta Hawks have been either at 500, a game under a game under 500 or a game over 500. I think 25 or 26 games in a row. They're the most mediocre team I've ever seen in my life. Obviously, they made a coach change a few weeks back and bringing Quinn Snyder to fire Nate McMillan. Hasn't so far has made a huge difference. We'll see what happens. The Toronto Raptors are a half game behind Atlanta. They're 2 games under 500 and 3 games under 500. A half game behind Toronto, a game behind Atlanta. It's the Chicago Bulls. But the Wizards are 2 games out of the play-ins. Pacers are 2.5 games out of the play-ins. Orlando is 5.5 games out of the play-ins, and then the Hornets and Pistons are officially out. In the West, Denver Nuggets already clinched their division, so they'll be in the postseason. Memphis is 3.5 games behind them in second. Denver's got 48 wins, 48 and 24. Memphis at 44 and 27. Sacramento's at 43 and 28. They're in third, or a game behind Memphis for second. Phoenix is in fourth at 38 and 33. A half game behind them is the Clippers, who are 38 and 34 in fifth. And sixth is the Warriors, a game above 500. They're a game and a half behind the Clippers. The first play-in spot at 500 is Dallas. Dallas is a weird team. You look at the team on paper, you have Kyrie and Luka in the backcourt, plus you look at, they got Christian Wood. They got Tim Hardaway Jr. Like, damn, this team has got to be at least, look at the West there. They got to be at least top 3 or 4. And you think they're 500, they're a playing team? What? They're a weird team. It's a team that could be anywhere from losing in the play-ins to going to the finals. That's crazy. Minnesota's a game below 500. So they are a half game behind Dallas. Also a half game behind Dallas is Oklahoma City, who's been playing good basketball. They're up to the 9th spot. They've played 2 West games in Minnesota, so that's why their record's slightly different. And Utah's also has the same record as Oklahoma City. So the play-in right now is tight. The 4 play-ins teams are all within half game of each other in the West, and the Utah Jazz, who are in 10th, they're actually only 4 games out of 4th. So the West is very, very tight. Also looking in, Lakers are a half game out. They've been playing decently. Obviously, they're still down LeBron. And they're hoping to get him, the plans to get him back sometime before the end of the regular season. You got the Pelicans are a game out of the plans. We're still without Zion. They're hoping to get him back before the end of the regular season. You got Portland, who's just falling apart. They're falling 4 games out of the plan. They're without Dame, and I hear Dame might not return this year. He said, that he wants to play, but, they've kind of fallen out of contention, so he might shut it down. I would say, if I were him, they're 31 and 40, but still, they're 4 games out of the play-ins. They could hypothetically sneak in the play-ins. Will they go further than the play-in exit? Probably not, but if they do sneak out of the play-in, they're gonna get obliterated by Denver or somebody like that. Even Sacramento probably beats them in 5 games. Heck, the Phoenix even the Clippers might beat them in 5 games, but I would say at least try to see if you can get back. Yes, don't risk, coming back and blowing out your knee and be out next year. But if you can get back and maybe sneak in the 9th or 10th seed, I think you should try to do it. I don't know. We'll see what happens. And the Spurs and Rockets are officially out. Okay, before I move on to some alpha free agency moves, I want to talk about something Jaylen Brown said that kind of piqued my interest. My ears kind of perked up. He was asked about staying in with the Boston Celtics long term because he has only 1 more year left on his contract. He's got next year, and then he's a free agent. He said, this was his answer. I don't know. As long as I'm needed, it's not up to me. We'll see how they feel about me over time and how I feel about them over time. Hopefully, whatever it is, it makes sense. But I will stay where I'm wanted. I will stay where I'm needed and treated correct. I just enjoy the time that you have now. If it's your whole career, it's your whole career. If it's not, it's not. Some of the greatest players of all time haven't finished with their organization. Michael Jordan retired a Wizard. This is a guy, obviously, he's a great player, huge piece, second best player on the arguably on paper when they're all right, the best team in basketball. Right now they're they're number 2 behind Milwaukee. Standings, record wise. But, in the offseason, the Celtics were considering trading him to the Brooklyn Nets for Kevin Durant, and to Jaylen Brown's dismay, he went on social media and voices his dismay about that. I think it's odd, and he's only got another year left on his contract. You would think, this offseason could be a time where maybe he gets a 5-year max extension. But now all of a sudden, when they asked him, he said basically, I'm not sure. Depends. We'll see what happens. I mean, you would think he wouldn't leave. Him and Jason Tatum are very, very close. He's obviously, Jalen Brown's co-star. He's the best number 2 in the league. Possibly could be on number 1 on some teams, but he's probably the best second option in the entire league. Great player, huge piece of this what the Boston Celtics do. But I don't know. You might want to keep an eye on that. I know he said something else. He was saying I guess because Kevin Durant and Jason Tatum are friends. So when the Celtics were thinking about trading for Durant, he was like, wait a minute. He was thinking, am I getting traded? So he said he kind of questioned the direction of the organization. He's like, am I really part of your future? I mean, you're having talks about trading me for Kevin Durant. Now, obviously, that's still such a multiplayer situation. Obviously, didn't end up happening, but still, at the time, such a multiplayer situation, it would have been a lot of things would have to go right for that trade to even work out. But he's thinking, all right, Tatum, who's the star of a team, it's the star is Tatum, not Brown. That's just a fact. Nothing against Jaylen Brown. That's just how it is. Him and Durant are friends. Could Tatum have some sort of influence? A championship contender. Kevin Durant obviously at the time wanted out. Brooklyn obviously ended up getting switched going to Phoenix. But at the time, it looked like didn't think he would stay at all through the off season. Of course, he ended up going to the deadline. But wow, I thought that was a little interesting that he said that. So something to keep your eye on. Now let's talk about some NFL free agency moves. Houston Texans made a couple of nice moves. They pick up Dalton Schultz, 1 year, $9 million. Nice deal for Houston. Schultz is a really good tight end. I would say a top 10 tight end in the league. Really good red zone threat. It's a nice weapon for whoever the Houston Texans draft second overall. And they get him on a 1-year deal. I like that move for the Houston Texans. Let's pick up Devin Singletary, 1 year, $3.75 million. I think Singletary in a committee can be a solid. I think it's a 3 down back. But, having being number 2 behind Dameon Pierce, that's a nice move for Houston. Bills pick up Damian Harris on a 1-year deal. Don't know the financial terms yet, but that's a nice move for Buffalo. When healthy, he's a real good back. A lot of injuries this year, plus Roger Stevenson had a breakout year. But in 2021, on 202 carries, he had 4.6 yards a carry. Came for 926 yards. He had 15 touchdowns. I think he's very underrated. He's a solid 3 down back when he's healthy. He's money in the red zone around the goal line. Nice pickup for the Bills, who may have possibly finally found a 3 down back. Plus, you still have James Cook there. I like that pairing better. I think James Cook pairs better with Damian Harris. I think with Devin Singletary, nice move for the Buffalo Bills. Dallas re-signed Cooper Rush just a few days ago, 2 years, $6 million. I hope he'll once again back up Dak Prescott. He did a good job filling in for Dak, but Dak got hurt this past season. Patriots cut Jalen Mills, a D-back is about a week or so ago. Saves $5 million. I'm hearing they might get DeAndre Hopkins. I talked about this with Ashton yesterday. That might happen. Bills Isaiah McKenzie, the veteran receiver, saves him $2.7 million because they've had a lot of cap problems. They've lost some pieces. Liners on their kicker Mike Badgley a few days back, 1 year, $1.2 million. Malik Reed goes with Dolphins on a 1-year deal. Dolphins beef up their pass rush. Browns signed Josh Dobbs, 1 year, $2 million. As you can see, free agency is slowing down. Not a lot of big names. So Josh Dobbs, who finally, after 5 years in the league, started the last 2 games of the season, elected for Tennessee. Tennessee was hurt, and Malik Willis was just abysmal. Mike Vrabel and company didn't trust him. So he'll back up to Deshaun Watson this year in Cleveland, it appears. So you got Nicholas Morrow goes to the Eagles on a 1-year deal. He's a decent starting linebacker. He's lost a bunch of pieces, including T.J. Edwards is one of our linebackers, so he probably replaces them. Just signed Thomas Morstead, who's a very good punter. At one point was the best punter in the league for the Saints. A little older now, still a good punter. Have Braden Mann still on the roster, who is a very good punter. He got plenty of work last year in that offense. But they're shopping him, so my guess is either they'll trade him. That's what they're trying to do, so they can get a late round pick back for him. Maybe they'll cut him if they can save a little bit of money. They're trying to save as much cap space as they can as they try to facilitate a trade to bring in Aaron Rodgers. So those discussions with the Packers and the Jets continue. Or maybe they'll keep him and they'll have them compete, and whoever loses the job, they'll make a last-minute roster cut. We'll see what happens. Magic Johnson might be owning the Commanders. He has joined the group that is trying to buy the Commanders. So we'll see what happens. He has put ownership in the Dodgers, and I'm sure owns many other things. He's a very successful businessman. His obviously NBA career has helped as well. Donta Hightower officially retired. Longtime middle linebacker for the Patriots, two-time Pro Bowl, three-time Super Bowl champion. Didn't play last year, but that was because he just no one signed up. But he's officially retired. By the way, Cam Newton is going to throw the Auburn Pro Day. He did that video. He's like, oh, how are these randoms, keep getting jobs? He said, oh, there's not 30 you guys better than me. And then he was like, dude, the video of him, like, doing all these throws to wide receiver. Cam was not in the league last year. He's done, if you ask me. I don't put much weight behind it, but he'll be throwing it all on Auburn Pro Day. We'll see what happens. Okay, obviously no college basketball to report. A couple days off before the Sweet 16 starts on Thursday, but I want to shout out the Sacred Heart University women's basketball team. They won the NCAA tournament, and they went to the March Madness for the first time. I don't even remember the last time. It may have been over 25 years, and they won a first four game. They are the first NEC women's team to win a first four game ever. So kudos to the shoe ladies, all of y'all. Great job. And we got this is some bit of sad news. St. Francis Brooklyn, who's also in the NEC team, has cut all their athletics. Okay, look, I read an article on it. The higher up were saying, oh yeah, COVID, really hurt us. I don't really buy that. A lot of these schools, they blame COVID, saying, oh, we lost money during COVID, and now, we gotta make budget cuts. We gotta cut athletics. I don't buy that. You gotta feel for all the student athletes and all the coaches and athletic staff there. All student athletes whose scholarships are being honored. I mean, yes, but now that they can't play the sport that they went there to play. Could have been a year ago, 2 years, 3 years ago. Who knows? Could have been a couple months ago. If this is their first semester over there. I just don't understand. If I'm an athlete, I am leaving. I think that school is going to see the biggest amount of percentage of students transferring from one school to another that you've ever seen. Like that, I think that's terrible. Terrible. I mean, the NEC is down to 8 teams. And last bit of news before I close out, Tobin Anderson, the coach at FDU, he has agreed to be a new head coach at Iona. It's a 5-year deal. Iona's coach, obviously Rick Pitino took a head coach job at St. John's, 6-year deal. I talked about it yesterday with Ashton. I mean, I am not a fan of Rick Pitino. He's a cheater and a liar, but he is a great coach. And as a St. John's fan, I am very happy that they finally have a real coach. But Tobin Anderson to Iona, 5-year deal, nice move. We all know he was going to be a hot candidate after he took a FDU, who wasn't even the best team in the worst conference in basketball, so now won a tournament game. Kudos to Tobin Anderson, came out and said we're going to beat him. Everyone bashed him, including myself, and he proved us all wrong. So kudos to Tobin Anderson. That's all I got for you guys today. Until next time, so long. Have a great day.